tankers, long time no see. Thought I'd upload this video of me driving along in an A13 Mk.I. This is a fun tank to get early on in the game, War Thunder. I recommend getting this, and what you need to do is spade it as quickly as possible, because when I first started playing this tank I didn't think much to it, but once I spaded it, it was a lot better. We'll talk more about spading later on in the video. So this tank should be used as a flanker. That means attacking tanks from the side and the back. If tanks that you are up against have any armour from the front, you're going to be in trouble. You probably won't pen. But from the sides and the back you'll have no trouble at all. However, down at low BR there are a lot of lightly armoured tanks and wheeled vehicles that you might be able to hit from the front. I'll show that in a moment. I managed to get 4 kills in this game, which is pretty good for me, by the way, even down at this low BR. So this is where I get my first kill. I'm looking for isolated targets. This is what this tank's all about. Look for isolated targets, and you're looking to flank or get in behind. I was fortunate here that this vehicle approaching is a lightly armoured wheeled Italian vehicle, which I could take on head on. If this had had any armour I would have been in trouble. I probably wouldn't have been able to pen. There's my first kill. So with this tank you do not want to be driving out in the open because there's no armour, you don't want to get sniped, you're looking for cover all the time. As you can see, I'm always looking around. I'm looking around where buildings are, where do I go, and where can I keep this tank well protected. And that's the thing with War Thunder, I think everything's about staying in cover rather than being in bushes like in World of Tanks where it's about concealment. I think in this game it's more about looking for cover, buildings, rocks, anything you can hide behind. So I think I get my second kill soon, and this is it. I'm sort of a little bit vulnerable here, but I managed to get my second kill on a lightly armoured target. So then I'm sort of driving around looking for more opportunities here. With my playstyle, I'm always looking for tanks that make mistakes, push forward, be aggressive, and then expose their sides, or I can get in around behind the back. So I'm sort of waiting, a bit cautious here. I also want to make sure I'm not going into any open space that's going to leave me vulnerable. And I get hit. And this is the problem with tanks down at this low BR. You tend to catch on fire very easily because they're so lightly armoured. I was lucky I wasn't actually killed there as well. And then another problem is waiting ages for the tank to repair, which leaves you vulnerable. I'm going to speed this bit up because there's a lot of driving around. I'm very cautious here. I don't want to be out in the open again. I've just got hit once already. And I'm going to show you here where I have this issue where, you know, I'm not sure what I want to do because I don't want to be driving out into the open. If you drive out into the open with these low-ranked vehicles, you're in trouble because there's no armour. One hit can take you out. And this is my problem, you see. I want to go across there, but it's open space, so it takes me an age to decide whether to go or not. You find you scuttling around like rats going in and out of cover, and I make the decision to go for it. In this case it does end up paying off. I could have easily been taken out here. So I dart across, getting behind the building as quickly as I possibly can. And there we go, we're in cover. And then from here, I'm looking for tanks pushing across. You see this hilly terrain here. I just hide around this building for a bit, and then I'm just looking for any tanks that may be pushing across, leaving the sides exposed. Kind of vulnerable myself at this point as well, but I'm after more kills, so I'm taking some risks. And I didn't get that kill there. I'm not sure if the plane took it out. Just hiding around the corner here. I can't see anyone, so I make the decision to push out, and then I can see some tanks across there. There's a French tank, and I think there's a Japanese tank there as well. Taking a few shots, no success. This is a French tank that's got more armour, you see. It takes a bit to knock them out. I do manage to knock out the Japanese tank, I believe, but the French one is still alive. But the French tank makes a bit of an error here because he exposes the side of his vehicle. So now I can pan. I give him a critical hit, and then I take another shot and knock the crew out. And that's because he exposed his side, you see. If it had been front on against me, I would have struggled to pan. I managed to get my kill, but now I'm really vulnerable. Now I'm going to show you the weakness. There's a German tank approaching. That's actually a Czech tank, but it was under German command. It was the Panzer 35T, and he takes me out. It shows you how vulnerable you are when you're out in the open with a tank like this with no armour. But it is great fun. I just want to finish with a chat about the importance of spading the tank. If you're new to the game, you might be wondering what spading means. Spading means researching all of the modifications and upgrades on the tank. As we can see in this image, when all modifications are researched, there is a spade icon shown alongside the vehicle, aircraft or ship in the tech tree. This indicates that it is fully researched. It's worth pointing out that you don't have to use every modification researched. I'm not going to go into detail on this, but sometimes a player might not use the upgrade, especially if it affects weight and speed of a vehicle. But one thing I found important whilst playing the A13 is shell types. The stock shell on the A13 Mk.I was terrible, bounced and ricocheted off most tanks, even worse at distance. This made the gaming experience extremely frustrating at first. And if we scroll down here on the wiki page for the A13, I would show this in game, but I currently do not have War Thunder installed at the time of recording, but I will be installing it again. I've had enough of World of Tanks, unless Wargaming decide to change the matchmaking system, which is highly unlikely. So I'll be back playing War Thunder, and I'm also checking out Gaijin's other military game, Enlisted. My graphics won't be great in that game, so I hope you guys won't be too cruel on my potato PC. I might upload a few videos about that game in the future as well. Anyway, we can see the penetration values for the shell types for the A13. The stock AP rounds were terrible for penetration, as you can see, even worse over distance. This is why I was not having much fun with the tank at first. Really thought about just grinding through and getting another tank. But the upgraded shells made a huge difference. The APCBC shell is very effective. It's also worth pointing out that upgrades to the turret rotation, suspension and engine also improves the tank a lot and makes it feel like a completely different tank to play. Similar to World of Tanks, upgrade the modules and you have a different tank compared to stock. Only consider spading the tank if you think you will really enjoy it and will play it often. Otherwise, don't bother and focus on other tanks. I think that finishes the video. I might upload more War Thunder videos in future. I'm maining the Italian tech tree. I really want the Italian MBT, the OF40. Not sure if it'll be any good in the game, but I really like the design of the tank. Couldn't get it in World of Tanks. There is the Line, which is the prototype version of an OF40, but that was an assembly shop tank that would cost you way too much of your resources to purchase. I'll also be trying to progress the British tech tree in War Thunder as well, although at a slower rate for the grind. That's all folks, I'll see you in the next one.